Hi guys, it is Courtney. So today I will be doing another paranormal experience video. I have a lot of like creepy little story times that I'm going to be sharing today. So the first video I did of this was my paranormal babysitting experience, which that video did really good and a lot of you said that you liked it. And I said in that video that I had other like creepy paranormal stuff that has happened to me, and if you wanted me to like share the stories, I would. And a lot of you wanted me to, so that's what I'm doing today. If you haven't seen my first paranormal video, it will be linked down below. And before we get started, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and let's just get started. Okay, I'm not really sure where I should start. I don't know if I should start with the most creepiest or the less creepiest. Okay, I'm just gonna go with like the less creepiest stuff. So these little stories I will be sharing with you aren't exactly stories, like they aren't long at all. They're just little creepy things that have happened to me. I don't know if this is really common or why this happens, but my TV in our house turns on by itself, and I don't know if this is weird. It doesn't do it often, but it does do it once in a while, and I just think that is so creepy. There's no way that no one could press the remote because no one is like in the living room when it happens. So I just think that's really creepy. Also, when we moved here to Florida, we stayed in this house for a year. It was like our friend's house. Even his TV would turn on by itself. So I'm not really sure why it does this, but it's not really that creepy, but it still is kind of weird to me. So my family and I live in this newer neighborhood, and we live in a new house. We've only lived here for like 3 or 2 years, something like that. And I hear banging noises all the time. It kind of just sounds like someone banging on the wall, or just things in the walls that are like breaking or something. I don't really know how to explain it, but like I said, it's a newer house, so I don't think it should be doing that. And it's not like people are banging on the wall, like it just happens randomly when no one is doing anything. So another thing was, one time I was sitting at my round kitchen table, and I was like just sitting there in the chair on the computer, and all of a sudden I feel like someone is touching my lower back with their hand, like they just put it on my back. And it was the weirdest feeling. It didn't literally feel like a human hand, but it felt like something was touching me, and it wasn't like the chair or anything. It just felt like something was there touching my back. So another little creepy thing that I probably should have shared earlier was when we moved into this house we are in right now. It was like the week we moved in, and I was upstairs just on the computer. I think we have like a bonus room upstairs, so I was upstairs. So as I'm sitting there on the computer, all of a sudden I hear footsteps coming from the attic, and no one was up there. And plus, if there were someone up there, it wouldn't have sounded like someone was walking. Like the footsteps kept going on and on, almost like they were standing in one place, and it just kept going on and on and on, but it still sounded like someone was walking. Okay, so now this story is the creepiest paranormal thing that has happened to me in this house. So I was standing in the kitchen, like just on my phone, and I was just standing in the kitchen. My sisters were in their rooms, and actually my mom and dad weren't even home, I'm pretty sure. And all of a sudden I hear this little boy talking, but what I was hearing, I could not make out what it was saying. It's not like it wasn't speaking English, because it was. He was saying a bunch of English words and putting them into a sentence, but it didn't even make sense. It just sounded something like that. It lasted for a pretty long time, maybe like 10 or 20 seconds, and I was just standing there in shock, like I couldn't believe what I was hearing right now. Okay, I'm gonna try to like make this easier to understand. It's just like this big echo, not echoey, but just like this loud voice, and it's almost like you're the only one that can hear it. So you know, like in movies how Jesus will be talking from like the sky, and it's so loud, but it's like only you can hear it? That's what it was like when this little boy was talking. That's like an example of what I was hearing. It just sounded like it was coming from my head. It almost sounded like it was coming from my head, but I heard it like this voice in our dining room area. And after this happened, I went to my sister Nicole. So I walk into my sister's room to tell her like what just happened. In her room, she was playing really loud music. So I was just asking her what song she was playing, and it was like a Rihanna song. And I like told her I just heard this little boy talking, so I was wondering if a song you were playing had like a little boy's voice. And she said, no, what are you even talking about? Like, she didn't know what I was talking about. And to this day, I haven't heard this little boy's voice ever again. I just think that it's the creepiest thing. It's not like the TV was on or anything. And also, since we're talking about like the kitchen area, we have this window in the kitchen, and this window is facing the side of our backyard, and sometimes in the corner of my eye, I will see this black shadow just run across. But the creepy thing is, I'm not the only one that has seen this happen. And it's just funny, one day, like Nicole said, she sometimes sees black shadows run across, like in the corner of her eye. And then Katie said that she did too. So I'm not the only one that sees this. So obviously something is wrong if the three of us have seen this black shadow. So we just always see this black shadow from the corner of our eye run across our yard from outside of the window. But it's not like there's people running in our yard because it's fenced and no one like can come back here. So it's just really weird. And I haven't seen the black shadow run across the yard. It hasn't happened recently. So this story takes place in my parents' bedroom, and for some reason I feel like my parents' bedroom is not really exactly haunted. It's just a lot of creepy things happen in their room. So one day my friend Lindsay came over after school and we were sitting like at our kitchen table and Katie was there and we were eating lunch and we were actually sharing with her the creepy stuff that has happened in our house, and Katie started sharing with her the creepy things that have happened in their closet, and it's like a walk-in closet. And Katie was saying how when she would walk into her closet, she would go into my grandma's jewelry box, and she's like not alive anymore. So every time she would open the jewelry box to look through her like stuff, the lights in the closet would start flickering. It's just like, why would the light randomly start flickering right when she opens the jewelry box? So it's just really weird. Like the light could flicker anytime. It just so happened to flicker when she opens the jewelry box. So it's just really weird. So that's like a little thing that has happened in their closet. But anyway, we were sharing with Lindsay that story, and all of a sudden, as we're sitting there eating and talking about like the creepy stuff that has happened to us, we hear this really, really loud bang come from my parents' room, and this sound was so loud that we jumped because our house was silent, like no one was home, it was just us. So we go into my parents' room, and on the floor is their wedding picture, and the frame and glass is broken into pieces. It was so creepy because we were just talking about the creepy stuff that happens in the room, and all of a sudden their wedding picture falls on the ground. Like, why their wedding picture? It could have been any other picture on the wall in the room, but it just had to be their wedding picture. Like, okay. So the last story I will be sharing with you today is actually something that my mom has experienced, and it's so creepy. I've never heard anything like this before. I always found these stories so like fascinating and creepy and cool, so I really want to share this with you guys. So basically one day my mom was with her friend and they decided to play the Ouija board. First of all, the Ouija board is something you should not be messing with because it's pretty demonic, I think, and it's real, and I don't think anyone should be messing with it. But she was asking the Ouija board if her dad and brother were gonna be okay. But I mean, she was saying this because her dad was a police officer, so he was out of town at this time. So she was just asking if he was gonna be okay, and like it responded yes. So then she moved on to her brother and she was asking the same thing if he was gonna be okay, and it responded no. The Ouija board spelled out brother, girlfriend, death. So my mom didn't really think anything of it, but she did call her brother Steven after this happened, and she was just telling him what it had spelled out, and he was kind of like joking around like, haha, okay. And this is such a sad story, but 3 days after my mom had been playing with the Ouija board, my mom got a call saying that her brother had died in a car accident and his girlfriend was also in the car. So he died in a car accident when he was only 16 years old. So basically like the Ouija board predicted the future. So after he had died, my mom and her dad would experience things, and they really think it was Steven trying to like communicate with them. And some stuff that would happen where the lights would turn on and off, the TV would turn on by itself, and it would always turn on to Saturday Night Live, which was his favorite TV show. And my mom also said that her dad would always go into his room and the bed was always made and the door was always closed. So she said that sometimes he would walk into his room and the bed would be messed up as if someone were sleeping in it. And it's weird because she said that his bed would be made all the time and the door would be closed. So it's not like someone was going in there and sleeping in his bed, because no one would go in there, and it's not like they had pets or anything, but like I said, the door would always be closed and his bed would somehow just get messed up as if someone were sleeping in it. So those are all the little stories I will be sharing with you today. A lot of these stories, people don't believe me when I share them, but I promise you it's real, and I truly believe that you can't really believe this stuff unless you've experienced it. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and listening to the little stories I had to share. If you enjoyed, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and comment down below what you thought, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!